mama yo. I came, I saw, I conquered, and I don't think I did it wrong. Although some might say I squandered, I planted the flag deep down in the sun, right here in Kingston Harbor.
Nothing else sounds as good as
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, so time here in SVG, it is 7:45, and at this time, we have, there we go, Mr. Kingsley DeFreitas on the line. Kingsley, good morning to you.
Yeah, morning. As an ardent supporter of WEFM and a well-wisher of the government, that song you played there, right? The blind supporters like Anita and them who support the ULP will call you and tell you just sending a message, so be careful, okay? Take it from me. Yeah, they ain't joking this man. Hey, what that, right? This afternoon at 4. No, I'm serious.
No, I hear you, but I played the song before, so yeah.
Okay. I really have to laugh too, because sometimes, our intentions are good, but Jesus, I tell you. Anyhow, 4 o'clock this afternoon, the Honorable Minister of Finance will be presenting the 2025 budget. Last year, the budget fell short because the speaker said that when she asked for debate, nobody sit. I was upset with the NDP because this stood in opposition for so long, they get into complacent. So I'm hoping that they will come with a plan. Dr. Lauren Friday will be responding to Camilla Gonsalves tomorrow morning. So they have at least 2 days to prepare their presentation from the content of the estimate. And being a politician, you have to pay attention to things that wrong for the last year. So what normally happens whenever Dr. Gonsalves presented his budget when he was Minister of Finance? Dr. Thompson, who was described by Ralph Gonsalves as arguably the brightest force, used to make a presentation soon after Dr. Gonsalves presented his budget. It appears that when Camera finished, there are limitations from the elected parliamentarian and the ULP decide to do what Dr. Thompson used to do. And they will do like what I used to do in school. They will wait until you open your book and try to scribble and make a presentation because they want to build their capacity on what was said by the other parliamentarian. But I am hoping that the NDP, after Friday presented his presentation tomorrow morning, I hope they will line up one behind the other and make the presentation. I wanted to frustrate the speaker. They must deliberately misquote certain things my way. They would have to use the point of order and stand up when they think they need for them to stand up. I am hoping that they use this opportunity to let people know that the 23 years in opposition is not a gift. And they came and they are coming with a plan to make their individual presentation because the election is here. And people want to hear what they have planned to take us into the next decade after the next election, which I hope that they will win. Because I don't know how much you're paying attention, but there are people saying, while Ralph Gonsalves is trying his best, it's too long in that, and they need some fresh ideas from the opposition when Dr. Friday becomes the Prime Minister. So, I'm making an appeal to Vincent to try to pay attention to what is going to be said by Camilla Gonsalves. And I listened to you this morning, and I agree with you that even something increased by 1%, it might be a small 1%, but that money used to be allocated to something else. We as poor people, would never be better off whenever a government presents a budget. If you pay attention to the estimate, that's a lot of money. And Vincent need to pay more attention because, hey, if you ask them to point out which segment of the budget last year was implemented, most of us, and I say us, might not be able to do that. You hear people who support the UAP like Dr. Cox and those persons, they will come and read and blow a whole heap of fun here and say this thing's happening. Have you ever heard them speak to the implementation rate? Have you ever heard them gurus who support the UAP come and say about the issue of the implementation rate and how effective it is? You don't get that. All they want you to do when election comes is to go and vote for the UAP so they will continue to live their high lifestyle and people like me will struggle to put food on our table. You know what I have for this morning? A cup of tea and a boiled egg. I couldn't even buy bread. Let me tell you how things bad in this country. And let me tell you something, you know. It's are people who are facing similar things like I described, you know. But they wouldn't come out and say things are hard. For instance, some people living from paycheck to paycheck. I agree when the 15th of every month come, Dr. Gonzalez and Kamala head hat because that's why I find the money to pay salaries. But we want the money to make sure pay our bills. And as you point out the importance of the NAS. I pay NAS because I don't want when I get old, I have to walk around and remind you to give me something. So I do that. And I thank Dr. Gonzalez for providing the avenue. So self-employed people like me could get a chance to pay the NAS. So when I get old and I can't walk around, I get something coming in. But I have to pay increase. I have to pay 140, now I'm paying 185. And it's difficult. I hope people pay attention to the budget. Look and see what the money is going to be used for and pay attention to the implementation rate of the last budget. And repeating this again, I'm hoping that the NDP come to Parliament, frustrate the government, frustrate the Speaker, get the message across, because you don't need to hear the content of the budget presentation to make a budget presentation on the budget. You have guidance from the estimate was presented over the weekend. So that's my thought, and you have a wonderful day, and I'll hear you tomorrow, okay?
All right, Kingsley. Thank you.
Bye.
All righty. So that was Kingsley DeFreitas' commentary for today, and he is urging persons to pay attention to the budget. Now, I will be very honest. It's only now that I have gotten older, and I guess it's because for the most part, I'm always at home, right? Because I am otherwise employed, self-employed at home. So I get to listen more to the parliamentary activities, right? And it's only of late that I've actually gotten involved in listening to the budget presentation or even listening to Parliament, right? I think one of the challenges for many persons is that if you are working and you are actually working, doing your job, sometimes it's difficult for you to pay attention to budget because it's within working hours, right? But I would encourage persons to listen to the budget as well, especially younger persons, so you can have an understanding of what's happening. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I believe a lot of time those numbers in the budget is fake. Phantom numbers. They have to present a budget, so they just put together some numbers for you. It's not real. But even if it was real, but the flip side of the coin is that too, sometimes you could budget for money for something, but things are caught you in the air. Like, if super happens, you have floods, you have hurricane, etc. Even in your daily life, you might budget money, monthly expensive, then pipe leaking, car breakdown, so you have to spend extra money, so you have to cut back on what you planning to do for that month or so. That happens to in government, but overall, I still think they just put together money, just a phantom budget. All right, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks, Vince. All right. So Queens has raised an interesting point where, for us, where we have a fixed income of sorts, and we know exactly how much money we would have to use in terms of to spend. It is easier for us to do a budget, right? And it's easier for us to stick to that budget. But a lot of the times when you look at, for me, of course, this is my opinion as I'm the one speaking, but anyhow, many times I do see figures being put down, and there are times when I'm still asking the question, where is a lot of the money coming from for some of these things that are put down? All right. Yes, I do know that money has to be allocated to different for different purposes, for different initiatives, for different things that the government would like to institute. But I still think, and maybe this is why I'm not going to be too critical of it as yet, because I am still listening out to hear where exactly is a lot of the money coming from. If I heard correctly when I was listening to the estimates, or part of the estimates is that I think this year it's a deficit budget. So in terms of it being a deficit budget, it just means that things are going to have to be prioritized with regards to the money that actually exists. All right. So this is why sometimes you might hear something presented in 2022 being represented in 2023, represented in 2024, and represented in 2025. All right. Simply because, yes, it was put down as a goal or a plan or an intention, but because the money wasn't there or money wasn't sourced, then it could not have been done. And this is what exactly happens with the government, is that many of the things they need to do or they wish to do, it has to be prioritized. There is a pecking order in terms of how things are going to be done. All right. So I don't know. As Queen said, things you have to present a budget every year on an annual basis. A budget has to be presented. But again, as I said last week, what it is that I'm more interested in seeing, apart from the initiatives and apart from new policies, I want to see what money is coming into our economy. Where is the new money coming from within our economy, so that we don't have this dependency on taxes and other measures, VAT, etc., other measures for way of circulating the money within the economy. All right. So that is what I'm going to look out for. And as you get older, you have a different appreciation or more appreciation of certain things. And that's the point that I've gotten to in my life. So I am actually now one of those persons who would look forward to listening to the budget, not for the drama that it sometimes brings, but to hear meaningful arguments and meaningful discussions. All right. All righty. So with regards to our topic, so good morning to everybody who's listening on the live. Good morning to Ann, Joshua, and Demon, and the Carlston for hitting me up already for the morning. Good morning to all of you. All right. So SVG is in the spotlight. Let's go through this very quickly. SVG is in the spotlight once again, and in a good way. All right. So just going to quickly play a clip for you.
Welcome back to the show, bud.
Thanks for having me back.
You look great. You're a stud. You know what? I follow you on the socials, and I know that you're a very adventurous guy. And
Great.
Yeah. And so you posted something. I go, oh, this looks super dangerous. Where were you here?
That is not very dangerous.
Yeah, what?
That is a very slow-moving aqua bike.
I don't even know what an aqua bike is, but where'd you do that?
That is in St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the Sandals Resort. I spent Christmas there.
Yeah, fun.
So, yeah, riding around.
Yeah, I love it. Joe Manganiello, everybody.
All right, so that was Joe Manganiello. I can't pronounce his name, surname, right? But he was there on the Jimmy Fallon show. And, Jimmy Fallon is a show that many persons look at. So for persons who may not have known of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it probably was a good time for them to Google to see exactly where he was. So he mentioned that he stayed at the Sandals Resort for the Christmas season. All right. And just to note that Sandals won a USA Today's 2025 Best All-Inclusive Caribbean Resorts, all right? And in that, St. Vincent and the Grenadines was mentioned in that listing. So hats off to Sandals. They have not been in operation for a full year as yet, Sandals, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, that is, but they're already making their strides. So commendations to everybody who has a hand, from the government, go right down to the pool attendants, right? To everybody who has a hand in pushing our tourism product forward and getting us this public recognition or this international recognition. Commendations to you. Now, in terms of SVG being in the spotlight, just one more thing to note that the UK FCDO issued a travel advisory to SVG, all right? But it's not what you think. Okay, so initially when I read it, I was thinking something else, but I'm happy that it wasn't what it is I thought it was. All right, so the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office has issued a fresh travel advisory regarding the ongoing impact of Hurricane Beryl on the Caribbean island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. All right, so they're speaking of the challenges faced by the island 6 months after Hurricane Beryl. So they're asking persons who are traveling from the UK just to confirm that if you're going to places like Myra to Union Island, to double check, and Palm Island and PT St. Vincent and Tobago Keys, just to double check that let's say your place of accommodation, that it's okay, that wherever it is that you're planning to stay, that you can actually stay there, that it's not safe in the context of being what's the word, accommodation friendly. All right, so just to make that double check in. So just to note for persons who are wishing to come to St. Vincent, well, to come to the Grenadines, and this particular issue was also issued for Grenada and its dependencies as well. All right, so that's SVG in the spotlight there for you. Good morning to Kwesi. Good morning to Kwesi as well. All right. So good folks, the time here in SVG, it is 8:01, and we are going to head on out of this particular segment. And then when we return, we have the Honorable Dr. General Thompson. Yes, I still call you Honorable. You might not on. It's right. All right. So the time here in SVG, it is 8:01, and our time check came through the compliments of New Haven Funeral Home.
Death is a fact of life. Even though death is a fact of life,